Rural Heritage on RFD TV is brought to you by Rural Heritage Magazine, a bi-monthly magazine featuring articles about farming and logging with draft animal power, small-scale diversified family farming and homesteading, and other aspects of our rich rural heritage. Rural Heritage Magazine, borrowing from yesterday to do the work of today. For subscription information, please call 319-362-3027 or order online at www.ruralheritage.com. Hi, I'm Joe Mishka, welcoming you to another half hour of Rural Heritage on RFD TV. Today we're traveling to Lawrence, Kansas, where this historic town hosts a special holiday parade. What's your favorite part of a parade? If you're like me, you like the horses. Horses pulling wagons, carriages, and coaches. Horses worked under saddle and in formation by military reenactors. And just everyday horses being ridden by their owners. Well, if that's what you'd like to see in a parade, you're going to love the Lawrence Horsedrawn Holiday Parade, where every entry involves horses.
Lawrence, Kansas has a very special parade that happens the first Saturday of each year in December. And it's a participation from a lot of local residents and a lot of local people that have horses. It's one of a kind, we always say it is, one of a kind horse parade, because everything in this parade is traditionally old wagons, old buggies, great horses, and it's a history lesson in the past of City of Lawrence.
This first group is from Shawnee County. They're the Shawnee County Sheriff's Posse, and looks like we have about 8 or 9 or 10 of them. And again, like Crystal says, they help with searches, they help with other things. They've helped organize the participants as they get ready to go through the arena or through the parade here. So give them a hand. This next rider, Alan Perrell from Okita, Kansas. This is his 25th year. This next group coming down the street, these are the Buffalo Soldiers from Nicodemus. They're sponsored by the Holiday Inn Express and Tractor Supply. They've been here, I believe they told me last night, about 16 years, and they just said they wouldn't miss it. They just really enjoy all the appreciation that you all give them.
In 1866, the United States Congress said that African American men could officially serve in the military. So they created the 9th and 10th Cavalry, the 24th and the 25th Infantry. The need to have more military presence was in the West. But this was at the end of slavery, beginning of Reconstruction. So most black men didn't have actually a place in society to be productive, so a lot of them joined the military. They served in the Spanish-American War, they served in World War I and World War II, and the Korean War. They were disbanded in 1953 when integration came in. Well, doing all the hardships and adversities, they became the most highly decorated cavalry regiments in all of military history. They received 23 Congressional Medals of Honor, and to this very day, that number still stands alone at the top of the list. But as all the black men moved west, the Native Americans noticed something was very peculiar about them. You see, the Native Americans said that the Great Spirit, which is God, sent them the buffalo. It clothed them, it sheltered them, and it fed them. But they noticed that the hair on the hump of the buffalo looked like the hair on the black man. So they called them the Buffalo Soldiers.
I didn't know that.
Not out of making fun of them, but out of great respect for them. But actually, they were out to subdue the Native Americans because that's what their orders were. But the conversations and the interactions they had with the Native Americans, there really wasn't a problem. And there's actually documented conversation where one Native American asked one of the Buffalo Soldiers, "Why do you fight for men that treat you less than cattle?" So it was, in one way, it was a prestigious thing to be a Buffalo Soldier, be in the military. but in their hearts, it was something sad for them to do.
So the next group coming is sponsored by Alco Property Management and Mass Street Music. And this is the 3rd Kansas Light Artillery, Battery C, and they're a Civil War artillery reenactment unit from Northeast Kansas. They were a Union Army artillery unit that fought in the American Civil War from Kansas. The limber and cannon was pulled from brass 6-pounder field gun and used by the North Union Army during the Civil War.
Next up is our 6-horse hitch that I mentioned, and this is the Adams and Belgians. Notice the coloring of these horses. They're kind of blonde with white manes and tails, and these horses do shows all over the Midwest. This is a high-wheeled show wagon that was custom built for the Adams family by Werner Wagon Works. Here we have Don and Connie Werner with Werner Wagon Works.
Mules Isabel and Edie. And holding the line is Don Prowl with his grandson. Welcome back to Lawrence, guys.
Next up, we have Brent and Marcy Jorgensen's Prairie Sky Clydesdales from Tecumseh. They're sponsored by Jimmy Johns and Weavers. Cody and Tex are the Clydesdales, and they love coming to Lawrence. This year, they're pulling an antique farm wagon.
This is Mike and Rhonda Bonnet, and they're sponsored by Grandstand Sportswear and Glassware. Their custom-made trolley is great for transporting people around in the parades. That holds a big crowd. And the name of their horses are Megan and Maggie, and they're American Spotted Draft horses.
Here we have Michael Downey from Cheney, Kansas. He's driving a custom-made Surrey. His wife, Julie, and Kevin are riding with him.
It's Thomas and Alan Wilden and Kreiner. The doctor's wagon was used to travel across the countryside making house calls. Outriders are Piper and Dalton Wilden and a friend. Welcome today.
Okay, next up we have Mo Trail from Paola, Kansas, sponsored by Heritage Tractor and Thomas and Deborah Marcus. Oh, that's our city manager, I believe.
Yep.
This is an Amish buckboard. It's 100 years old and was refurbished by Werner Wagon Works. Across the intersection now is entry number 73, Luke Johnston from Johnston Carriage Horse Company from Amsterdam, Missouri. Good to have you here, guys.
Okay, this is Howard and Bev Myers from Overbrook and the team of Belgians, Dan and Fred, and they're pulling a late 1800s prairie schooner, just like thousands of our ancestors did on their way west. The wagon is owned by Candace Brassick from McLeod.
With a Clydesdale named Stanley from McLeod is Candace Brassick.
And their outriders, Teresa Anderson from Williamsburg, the original cowgirl.
Here we have Lee and Kirsten Ewigman. Hope I didn't pronounce that wrong, but they're from New Cambria, Missouri.
55. Okay, this is Candy Kent and the Busch City Bandits. What a fine looking group. The group spends a lot of time in the saddle together and they sure love to ride. With them is an early 1900 spring wagon pulled by Leonard and a retired milk wagon horse of unknown draft mixed breeding. Gary Danner is holding the reins.
Aren't some of these decorations great that they've got? Okay, here we have Leslie Owen. They're from Paola, Kansas. Esther's a 6-year-old standard donkey, and this is her 3rd parade. They're pulling an Amish-made pipe cart.
Okay, coming up next is Lana Stolzenberg and the American Freedom Rider Drill Team. Their sponsors, the American Legion and McDonald's of Lawrence, Leavenworth, and Atchison. The team honors veterans past and present, all military serving in the United States Armed Forces.
And they've got their horses decorated, and they're decorated too.
Hi, I'm Joe Mishka of Rural Heritage Magazine. I'm on location of one of the many events we cover that celebrates our rural heritage. If you enjoy our show, check out our magazine, where you'll learn more about the people that blend the past with what works today. You can save almost 20% off the newsstand price by subscribing at ruralheritage.com or chat with us at 877-647-2452. That's toll-free, 877-647-2452.
Downtown Lawrence is quite historical. It always starts at the Eldridge Hotel, which is our oldest hotel in town that was actually burned down by Quantrill in the raid back after the Civil War. So we have a lot of history down there. We so much appreciate everybody coming in from Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Oklahoma, and being able to just come in and show off their professional grooming and taking care of all the horses and wagons that come in. It's just exceptional.
Okay, here we have the Murray Horse Company, Donna and Gordon Murray, Donna Ramey and Gordon Murray. These are paint Percheron crossbred horses named Rock and Chalk.
And here we've got some more of the Paso Fino groups. So.
This is the High Plains Paso Fino Association. These guys like to ride their horses. They were brought to America by Columbus in the second voyage and are gaited horses, we call them. Here we have Kathy Needham from the Olathe Trading Post in Ponton from Lewisburg, Kansas. They're sponsored by the Jayhawk Dental LLC and Warren McElwain Mortuary. Driven by Brian, Kathy, Donna, and Gail Anderson, and that's Mark the Clydesdale. Next up we have Mike Erigman. I think he had some family members go through earlier. They're from Marceline, Missouri. They're sponsored by Hedges Insurance and the West Heifer family. Their team of 10-year-old Belgian geldings are used around the farm and in the garden pulling an old horse-drawn potato digger and plowing.
So coming here is Tracy Helgett with the Flint Hills Gypsy horses. It's sponsored by the City of Lawrence and P1 Group. The Flint Hills Gypsy horses is represented by an important stallion, Flynn. So coming up now is Larry Wittman and Valerie Engelken, and they're sponsored by the Eldridge Hotel Partners. This is a restored 1901 Peter Scootler wagon, and draft horses Franny and Fred.
Hey, you know, we try and do a bit of a historic thing here with this parade. That's one reason all the wagons are wood-wheeled or wooden spoked wagons. Many of them are restored. Many are made to look like the old-timey ones. But here's a group that goes back even further than some of our wagons. Hey, you know, we try and do a bit of a historic thing here with this parade. That's one reason all the wagons are wood-wheeled or wooden spoked wagons. Many of them are restored. Many are made to look like the old-timey ones. But here's a group that goes back even further than some of our wagons do. They are wearing dress from basically the 1890s, the ladies' attire. And this is the Victorian Ladies group, sponsored by the Standard Beverage Corporation. They come from Oskaloosa, and they're riding primarily quarter horses, but they do a lot of parades and things like that, and they really have fun with getting in their outfits.
You girls would even make Scarlett O'Hara envious. You're looking fine today. Okay, this is Harold Jansen from the Blackrock Ranch. This is a reproduction vis-a-vis carriage. The Royal Crest Friesians and the Blackrock Ranch wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a big thank you for hosting this wonderful event.
So this one is also from the Harold Jansen Flatrock Ranch from Bucyrus, Kansas. That's just down south here a little ways. This is an early 1900s heavy freight wagon and was used to long-haul freight delivery.
Here's the rest of that Little Valley Trailblazers that went through earlier. The number 82 wagon there. Little Blue Valley Trailblazers from Kansas City, Missouri. Laura and Norman Hillman with the gust of wind pulling a wagon.
And they're followed up by Todd and Christina Reed, sponsored by Menards from Milton Vale, Kansas. It's an early 1900s Amish courting buggy.
And remember that for them, Jesus Christ is the reason for the season.
And we're glad to have Tressie Gulick from Eureka, Kansas here, sponsored by Lawrence Home Builders Association. They're driving a black two-seater carriage.
We have a great county fairgrounds, so we get to sequester all of the horses and everybody that comes in the day before. There could be as many as 100 entries, and we probably have probably 200, 250 horses that will go down the parade route, and it's really great. They have to come through our East Lawrence neighborhood, and the families on the East Lawrence neighborhood just totally enjoy the parade coming right by the front of their house, and they don't have to go up to the main street and watch it with everybody else. So it's quite a unique experience in town. But I have just a small group of about 18 people, maybe at the most, and we put on this parade. It takes about 4 meetings, and it's old hat now, unfortunately, but we hope to continue this on for a long time. I just have to, as always, you have to hand it off to some younger generations to come up.
Okay, we've got a team of Belgians coming here.
Carmen and Courtney.
I'm mistaken, they're halflingers. That's a smaller draft type horse. And so they're going to pull just a little bit smaller wagon, but this is a show wagon.
And these are full sisters, these horses.
And they've been to the parade 22 years.
This is Roger and Jackie McCormick and Belle, a Shelton pony. Roger and Jackie have been coming to Lawrence for 20 years, and Belle, a Shetland pony, is pulling her special pony buggy. It's 4 wheels, it rides easy.
Next entry here is Jim and Cheryl Thomas from the Kansas Horse Council. They work with the Kansas Horse Council a lot. They live in Linden, Kansas. This is a 2-seater doctor's buggy. It's owned by Doug and Julie Reichert and driven by Jim Thomas. Jim's the vice president of the Kansas Horse Council, which represents all the breeds and disciplines in Kansas. Jim is also the state trails director, so if you want to know where to ride on trails, talk to Jim.
These girls are part of the Kansas Horse Council too. So, and I understand this pony right here had his first beginning under the Christmas tree. And his first ride was in the kitchen. Lots of good groups here from the Kansas Horse Council.
Here we have another group of mounted sheriff's posse. They come and help us and do a lot of work for us, getting everything ready. They ride in a lot of parades and do a lot of search and rescue, I believe, and just really help with a lot of things.
They've been going for over 70 years and working in the community, and they serve at the pleasure of the sheriff. So each one has their own mount, and they provide the service to the sheriff at no cost to the county.
And we did tell them that they're from Jackson County, didn't we?
Right, they're from Greenwood, Missouri.
I'm retired now.
Are you? Okay.
Okay. I used to be a deputy, and we just had the horses when they needed a need. Call out on it. Every time I rode in the patrol car.
And the time that you would take the horse out would be when you'd be going out in rugged country doing a search or a rescue or something like that.
Right. Well, and we did security work at the stadium.
Crowd control, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Kansas City has developed them a mounted patrol now. They got six or 8 officers, I can't remember which, and they do a lot of that downtown Kansas City. We used to do a little bit of, but they don't come out in the county. And we're like this young lady here, she belongs to the Posse too. Well, they're not deputies any longer. They're not certified, so can't do much of that stuff with them other than parades and PR for the sheriff.
Which horse is yours? The dark one?
The black one.
Morgan Cross or?
No, he's a Tennessee walking horse.
Okay.
It's kind of a small one.
Okay.
I like small ones because they ain't that hard to get on anymore.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
But yeah, I've had him now. Let's see, he's 10, 11. I got him when he was 5. I've had him 6 years, and he was pretty wild at first. He'd always been showed. He'd never been out around anything. You know?
Sure. Right.
He's calming down pretty good now for me.
Okay, our next entry here is Michael and Deborah Ponton from Longford, Kansas. They're sponsored by Free State Doors and the Granada. This is a 14-passenger wagonette designed for transporting a big family, and that looks like a big family.
That's a whole community on that wagon.
It's being pulled today by Rose and Kate, who are Percherons. Percherons, you know, are the breed of blacks and grays.
This is Lynn Rombach. She's sponsored by 5 Guys and a Burger, and she's driving the Dazzling Diversity, a 32-inch tall AMHA registered miniature horse.
Okay, next we have Amanda Unruh from Hiawatha. They're sponsored by Alligator Incorporated and Tom Sloan and Mayhew, Environmental Training Associates.
And she's escorted by Buster Kuhn from Belvedere, Kansas, the
She's
Outrider.
driving a Meadowbrook cart that's intended to get a few people to their destination in a hurry. The horse is Dante, the black Frisian Percheron gelding. Then we have Gail Thomas from Fox Hollow Farm, Oskaloosa, Kansas. They're sponsored by Combs Custom Cycles and Patchen Electric. The cart that they're pulling, or that she's pulling, is made in Poland.
Okay, we have Steve and Marcy Williams with Werner Wagon Works. They're back for their second year with the brand new team. Are Steve and Marcy from Redfield, Kansas, and their 1880s Weber farm wagon. Barney and Zeke are 10 years old and half brothers, weighing 4,300 pounds each.
Okay, coming across the intersection now is Bob Winchell from Van Meter, Iowa. They're sponsored by Aquella Paint Horse Ranch and McGrew Real Estate. This farm wagon's an all-purpose wagon. The Winchell family have been continuous residents of Lawrence since 1856 and survived the Quantrell's infamous raid. Bob Winchell, accompanied by his children and nephews, are on the wagon, and they're being pulled by a span of mules.
This is Pat and Sandra Ponton. This is a 6-passenger wagonette designed for transportation of people. And the span of mules, sorrel mules, are Ruth and Repeat.
And they're followed by another span of mules, black mules, named Pete and Jim. This is Dave Eichmann from Buckner, Missouri. This buggy's a single seat with a driver and another seat for perhaps a doctor or courting couple.
This is Larry Crumpton. Patriarch Larry is a veteran of the parade, and he's back this year holding the lines of a team of mules pulling a high-wheeled show wagon. The mules are Beck and Molly, and he's sponsored by Aline's Colossal Cookies and Scott Temperature.
And they're being followed up by one of our helpful outriders, Mark Hibbenstreet. Here's Rusty and Andrew Cupton from Butler, Missouri, sponsored by the Tree Growers Association and the Trading Post. They're pulling a high-wheeled show wagon pulled by a team of mules, a span of mules, named Johnny and Jim.
Okay, here we have Dr. Suzanne Avery, DVM, and she's from Westmoreland, Kansas. Good morning, Dr. Avery. And she's packing a load there. She's riding a Kansas Enduring Honor of Foundation Morgan horse and packing Willard Moses, a Foundation Morgan mule.
This is Howard Burback from Pleasant Hill, Missouri. This is a restored 1880 Studebaker carriage that was very popular.
Okay.
Hey, here we have the Topeka Fire Department. They're sponsored by the Lawrence Chamber of Commerce. We certainly hope that we don't need to have your services today, guys.
Here we have Robin Dunn, a special event facility from down at Ottawa Way in Wellsville, Kansas. This is our authentic reproduction stagecoach, and it's loaded with a gift from Santa, the Christmas tree, Kansas Tree Growers Association tree, and it's a gift to the city of Lawrence.
Oh, here comes Santa. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Mass Street of Lawrence.
Thanks for joining us today at Rural Heritage on RFD TV, where we borrow from yesterday to do the work of today. This program is available for purchase. To order your copy, please call 319-362-3027 or visit www.ruralheritage.com. Rural Heritage is a bi-monthly magazine dedicated to draft animal farming and logging, as well as other aspects of our rich rural heritage. It is published by Mishka Press, which also offers a complete line of back-to-the-land books, DVDs, and calendars. Call or write for a catalog or subscription information, or visit our website at www.ruralheritage.com.